Hi, in this tutorial you will learn how to UV unwrap properly, texture your model, and create a toon shader that reacts to multiple light sources. By the end of the tutorial, you will be able to create something like this. Hide other objects in the scene. Select the body mesh, head over to the shading tab, and add a new material. Right click to add a new node and select an image texture node. Click New, name it something and generate an UV grid. As you can see, by default the UVs are messed up. Head over to the UV editing workspace and open up your image at the top. The easiest solution is to select all faces and do a smart UV project, which gives us an optimal unwrapping, and personally this is enough for me and this model, but this is not the standard way. As you can see, there are 20 different UV islands and it's horrible to paint over the texture when we don't know where which part of the body is. Let's take a look at Big Smoke from GTA San Andreas. Different parts of his body are projected as different islands. Makes it really easy to paint over or edit through an external software. We'll follow a similar approach with our model as well. Turn on UV Sync selection and under Options, enable Live Unwrap. Select Edges, right click and mark Seam to split the UV across selected edges. To get an idea of where to mark seam, look at natural seams of a shirt. Following these steps should get you a good UV unwrap. For more tips, I recommend this video by On Mars 3D. For my model, I'll stick to largely Smart UV project since my model won't have so many details. In place of our UV grid, I will open this texture I created earlier. Select all faces of the jaw and UV project from view since I will be painting the lips. Boots need to be separated as it will be part of a different material. In case you wanna see how your model would look in a toon shader, there's a quick toon viewer under matcap. I know the texture is horrible, so please consider it a placeholder for now. To paint the model, select the mesh and head over to the Texture Paint workspace. Press F to resize the brush and paint loose. Here's how it would look if a professional was doing it. Don't forget to save your image or else you will lose your progress. Here's the toon shader in work. As you can see, it responds to any color of light and there's no need to change colors manually. Let me delete my shader and redo it so that you guys can follow. Make sure you're in rendered view, add a new material, delete the principal BSDF node, right click to add a new node and look for diffuse BSDF. Add an image texture node and open your texture. Connect the diffuse to the shader to RGB node, then to a separate color node and change the mode to HSV. Connect the hue and saturation to a combined color node. Add a color ramp and pass the value node through it. Join the combined node to the surface material output. Adjust the slider and set the interpolation to constant. The first point is in 0.0. Set the second point to 0.001. You probably are not getting the same result as me, and that is because I have made some changes to my world shader, which I'll explain soon. Back to our shader, add a mix node. Set it to color and connect the combined color to A and the image texture to B. Set it to multiply and keep the factor to 1 or 0.9. The output isn't what we expected. The shading isn't crisp. We can observe that it's only obtained if our background light strength is 0. To achieve a background and the toon effect, let's add a light path node. Connect is camera ray to mix shaders factor. Duplicate the background node and pass both of them through it. Now one of them changes background and the other affects the lighting. That's it for the toon shader. The metallic toon shader is same as this one, except for a diffuse BSDF, it uses a glossy BSDF. For the line art, add a grease pencil collection line art. Go to modifiers, set the thickness to 4. For a natural look, add a noise modifier and ramp up the thickness and scale to max. I will add a multiple strokes modifier too for a better look. Although for that I need to change thickness of the lines to 2. That's it for the toon shader. Hope you learned something. See ya in the next video where I will rig the model.